So my question for you, and this is a real question, is it possible a black Republican with good intentions can be a positive impact for the black community? Hey, thank you for watching Power to the Pod, where we are committed to an intellectual integrity and a moral honesty. I'm your host, Superior, and once again, thank you for watching. Now, in my Discord, we had this conversation numerous of times, and we have an entire list on why we feel that black Republicans, leaders, politicians, commentators, whatever the case is, cannot be a positive force, cannot go into that party with good intentions and have any positive outcome. We have a whole list in there, and in this video, I want to talk about at least my top 3 reasons why it makes it almost impossible for these individuals to make a positive change that they seek. So my first reason is white supremacists, or really racist groups, supporting your party. To me, that has to be one of the most awkwardest conversations to have. And I mean, we have examples from the Proud Boys and the results of January 6th. We have Charlottesville attack. I mean, we have so many examples of these groups, these racist leaders supporting the Republican Party. Now, of course, I'm pretty sure somewhere, you know what I'm saying, because I don't know every Democratic voter or supporter, but it just feels like there's no prominent racist KKK leader supporting Bernie Sanders. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to find David Duke supporting AOC. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little weird to me how anyone who is not racist be comfortable with these individuals supporting your party. At some point, you have to ask yourself a question, and we already know what that question is. There was even newspapers created by the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, that detailed their support for Donald Trump. And we even have a guy named Richard Spence.
No, I think Donald Trump is a kind of alt-right hero. Donald Trump was that. Donald Trump and the alt-right have a deep connection. And because we're both about identity, the alt-right is about identity. I mean, look, I kind of like the idea of the alt-right as a general catch-all term. You know, like you're against the mainstream. You don't like the liberals or Hillary or whatever. But if the alt-right is going to really, that's fine. But if the alt-right is going to really have meaning, it has to be about identity. It has to be identity politics for white people in the 21st century. That's what the alt-right is. It's a true alternative.
Richard Spence. If you don't know who he is, it is crazy to me. If you can be a Republican, a politician, commentator, anything in between, and comfortably know that someone like Richard Spence is supporting your party, disregarding Donald Trump, disavowing these sort of people. If you listen to the rhetoric and what they want out of the Republican Party, it should have you questioning yourself. So my question to you is, how do you represent a party if 9 times out of 10, the leaders, the voters, the supporters, it's a good chance 9 times out of 10, they don't like you. They damn near might hate you. So how can you represent an entire party if they don't represent you? So my second reasoning, kind of following the first, is if you somehow find yourself wanting to support a policy that might help Black and brown impoverished communities, you know you know with a fact that you're going to be facing harsh pushback from these leaders and voters. For example, reparations. If you're a young black man or woman and you are a Republican and you feel even reparations even need to be talked about, we should just have the conversation. You know you're going to get extreme pushback, not from Democrats, maybe from independents, maybe not. Majority of your battles, your hurdles, your fights is going to be within your party. And then I would ask myself, well, why would it be so much pushback if we have history, we have facts, we have data in front of us? And then it dawned on me, like, if you are a Republican and you're a leader, you're a politician, it seems like they all practice either purposely forgetting history, whitewashing history because that might be easier for them, the Civil War, emancipation, Jim Crow, segregation, redlining, anything in between. You have to actively forget that or replace it with something that's like, like this.
It is historical. And the idea that your son or daughter went and marched in a war, people are just so stupid. They think they were fighting for slavery. Those people who fought were piss poor. They never had a slave a single day in their life. They fought for the South, and their sons signed up, went to war, and now they're told that even having the flag or having any pride for their dead relatives is something that is wrong and dirty and backwards and racist and associated with slavery. People are so ignorant about slavery and the numbers on slavery. I mean, the idea that everyone had slaves in the South is so stupid. It was the incredibly uber wealthy.
Black people felt, more than 50% felt a disdain for white people. I know it to be true because I grew up black. I've been black my whole life. I grew up around nothing but black people. And black people are probably, in my opinion, because I don't have any experience living around white people, but when I was growing up, black people are the most racist people that I know.
And let's not talk about police reform or prison reform or even gun reform, because we know some of these issues directly have an impact on black communities. So if you are a Republican and you want to have these conversations or support a bill that will actually make some substantive change, once again, your fight is not going to be with me. Your fight is not going to be with other Democrats. It's going to be within your own party. And then let's not even talk about protesting. Every time that there is, police brutality, or there's some sort of example of systemic racism within any corporation or institution, Republicans, especially black Republicans, they're quiet. When, George Floyd, situations like that, all you hear from black Republicans is anything but, hey, maybe we should take a look at reforming policing. Maybe we should put out some sort of policy so we can, maybe hope that these situations don't happen again. No, you always hear rhetoric that you would hear exactly from a white supremacist, because they know if they say anything that pushes to police reform, prison reform, gun reform, you are going to pretty much be shunned, exiled out of your own party. And then you find yourself falling in line with some of the idiots like Candace Owens, Officer Tatum, and the one guy who tried to run for president, but he was a joke. Ben Carson, that's his name. You find yourself falling in line because you know that the party is going to kick you out if you have any opinion outside of the talking points they provide for you. So my question for you is, how can you acknowledge or demonstration reforms, historical facts that might benefit black communities that your party is going to deny, whitewash, and be actively against. How do you work with your team if your team is your enemy? And then last, my third kind of reason on why it might be impossible for a black individual to make positive changes as a Republican is that the policies do not lie. For the past decade, Republicans haven't created, if not any, very little impact for black communities when it comes to actually creating the change that we need. For example, food stamps. Now, I know that's a weird topic that a lot of people seem to not understand. One, I do believe that when it comes to government assistance, I do not expect anyone to live their life taking from the government and just be comfortable at the bottom. Of course not. So we should once again reform government assistance to where it can actually assist people where they're at and get them out of that situation into a better one. Of course. But you don't just take money out. You don't just take billions of dollars out of that program and have nothing to replace it or to make people who you're taking that from into a better position. Just taking it is not going to solve anything. And another policy that is kind of going back in time is housing segregation. When Obama came into office, he set up a team to go ahead and investigate and hopefully try to make any change. Now, did they? I don't know. I can't really find any information on that. But why would you go into office as a Republican and take that away, knowing the facts that housing segregation is a real thing? It's actually worse now than when segregation was legal. How is that? Maybe we should actually spend some time and resources on figuring that out and try to, collapse that gap. But once again, if you're a black Republican with good intentions, how do you see information like that and just ignore it? Once again, you're not going to get pushback from Democrats, maybe not independents. You're going to get pushback from your own party. So how do you square that circle? You really don't. And then tax cuts. That is the two best favorite words from any Republican. You say those two words, they start to smile. You know what I'm saying? They get a little excited. When it comes to tax cuts, it's been proven time and time again that it very little helps middle class to poor people. Very little. But it always, 9 times out of 10, always benefits those at the top. So as a black Republican and you want to try to collapse the wealth inequality from black communities, and you know that the policies that your own party, that they're constantly trying to fight for, it seems like that's the only policy that they will fight tooth and nail for. And you know that policy is not going to directly benefit the black community. What do? What can you possibly say? So my question for you is, how do you back up policy that is exact opposite from the policies that your own party is championing? It seems like it's harder to fight your own party than it is to fight, quote unquote, fight the opposition. Now, yes, we all know that Democrats is worthless too. And trust me, a video is coming for that too. But it feels like if you are choosing to take in part of a party that if they had their choice, they would hang you. They hate you. They don't even think you're human. They don't even believe you deserve rights. How can you, with good intentions, with a good heart, taking part of a party that doesn't want anything to do with you? Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was something new for this channel. I hope you learned something. And if you have any input or if you disagree with me, go ahead and let me know in the comments down below, and let's have that conversation. And if you want to get deeper into these conversations and you want to, partake in videos like this, go ahead, join the Discord, join the family, and like they say, iron sharpens iron, and that's exactly what we do. So once again, I appreciate you watching, and I will catch you in the next video.